Okay, this is our course Blackboard. And maybe text on the screen is a little like small, but you can just watch your monitor. Okay? And this is GAME232. If you look at the left side, there are like my grades, orientation, syllabus, schedule, and as a course content, unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, assignment, and communication. You will see discussion board, student service, and office hour. And these are not public or visible yet, but there will be student zone for question and answer. And later on, you will have team and group work and other stuff. So let's go to orientation first. Okay, this is me. Okay. Welcome to GAME232 online and mobile game development. Okay, my name is Sang Nam, and I'll be your instructor for this course this semester. And currently, I'm serving as director of computer game design program. And my specialty, I teach this lower level game engine course along with computer game programming course, and I also teach augmented reality and virtual reality design course. Some other courses I also teach time to time if we cannot find instructors to teach for certain classes. I usually take that. So this semester I teach portfolio preparation, and also I'll be the instructor of record for internship. So later on, I mean, you will work with me in many occasions. Okay? So if it's first time for you to take my class, yeah, get to know me, and you can come to my office for any questions for this class or for the program. Like if you have a question about our program and other things, you're more than welcome to come to my office and ask. And other things about me, yeah, if you just go to gamegmu.edu faculty page, you'll see me. So here, this is me. I've been teaching in higher education for about like 17, 18 years. And my 15-minute fame was back in 2010. I was selected as like National Teaching Scholar by Carnegie Foundation. So I was famous for 15 minutes. And my research area, you can actually see this video later on. I try to explain what I do, okay? And I do virtual reality stuff, and I also do augmented reality stuff, and some serious game. Okay? We're going to talk about the serious game later on, but this is something you can see to get to know me. Maybe, yeah, I'll do a little bit more of introduction. Okay. I own my company, like NAM ER Technology. Okay. If you don't know, that's the NAM in Chinese character. I'm not Chinese, but and ER stands for emergency room, right? But in my company, it stands for enhanced reality. So there's AR and BR, and now actually people use like MR as mixed reality, and sometimes use ER as extended reality. But I came up with this term like long time ago, and I believe this technology can enhance the reality within. So NAM-ER technology is, we specialize this AR, VR technology to enhance the reality. Few things I do, I actually sometimes go over this one. So let's kind of, see this. This is something I did a long time ago, probably actually not that long, maybe 2012 or 13. I did this for Volvo company, Volvo in North Carolina. So basically, back then I didn't use the engine, game engine. So I used ActionScript 3 with Director. Okay. You're late. What's your name?
Steven.
Okay. When you walk in late, I actually write down like what time you walk in.
Yeah, sorry about that. The shelves were rocking it.
Yeah, so try to be here on time next. So this is what I did before with ActionScript 3 with Director. So this is developed for Volvo, and they had these two new truck. So I work with the advertisement agency to create this interactive presentation of their two models. So this is what I did. And if I look back now, I actually probably ended up like using more than probably 9,000 or 10,000 lines of code to do this. But now I think of it, if I use it Unity, it's probably a lot simpler. Actually, just to rotate this 3D model, okay, you can actually have maybe 3 lines code in C# in Unity. You can do something similar. Okay, so, but I sometimes just go over this one just to explain how lucky you guys are, because before when we had this technology, it takes like forever to do simple stuff. And sometimes I do some virtual reality stuff. This one actually was, we created this 3D virtual reality space for this scholar who studies 15th and 16th century sword fighting. So we try to preserve, archive that historical movement, and we created this 3D avatar, and we did motion capture of professional stagey combat actor, and then create this. And this one is something I teach in GAME232 AR/VR design. This one actually is a virtual tour of this art and design building. So you can possibly see some familiar spaces. Yeah. And other things, yes, I do. Programming is my background, so I use programming plugin and languages. And this is a simple OpenCV that converts real-time footage into kind of sketches, cartoon-like the video. And this one was that augmented reality project that I did for US Army. So we created this simple AR training app for the combat medic. So we're commissioned by US Army and created this. So 3D models along with, I use it Unity, so this is something you can possibly do with Unity. Okay. Other things, current project, silica dust simulation. I work with people at engineering department to create educational simulation for silica dust, okay, and other stuff. And one last thing, like current project, I'm creating this game prototype, social game for Indian girls aged 15 to 19 for fertility awareness and family planning. So instead of teaching them about fertility awareness, because in India it's taboo to talk about all these things. So instead of doing that, we try to create a game, like social role-playing game, and people play the game and understanding the consequences of their action or their choice. So we are creating that game prototype. Sometimes I say this, this is kind of good time for you to study game because now people realize game is important and game actually can change the world. So this project, we are awarded $1 million grant by USAID. USAID is United States Agencies for International Development. So they basically gave us $1 million to create this game prototype for 2 years. So meaning not only us, but also other people, even government agencies now realize, oh, game actually can do a lot of things. So there's a lot of opportunities in this field, and try to think about that. Yes, you want to make a fun game, and even like these serious games must be fun so that people want to play this more. But at the same time, you can think about all this positive impact that game can bring. All right. And let's go back. And let's go to syllabus. Okay, online mobile gaming, GAME232. Okay, one thing I have to tell you is we are going to talk about mobile game, but we're not going to talk about online game. Okay, so don't get confused because this class is basically kind of prep course for you to advance to GAME330. So we will create many casual games using Unity. So my goal is for you to create maybe 8 to 9 small games, and while understanding how to use the software. Okay. So when we actually developed this course, we thought we would have time to talk about online game, but we realized we actually don't have enough time to talk about online games. So eventually, we are going to change the name of the course to mobile and casual game, and dropping online games. So don't get me wrong. Okay, we're not going to. We probably can have a special topics course on online game later. But in this class, we're not going to talk about online game development. But we'll focus on casual game along with mobile game, mobile platform. Okay. So sometimes at the end of semester, we do have student evaluation. People say, oh, it's online and mobile game, but I never learned anything about online game. Yeah, maybe I'll just mention a little bit, or maybe at the end, if we have time, I can kind of give you some direction so that you can play with online aspects in game development. But if you look at the syllabus and schedule, we probably not going to talk about online game. But again, you are more than welcome to come to my office and talk about your side project if you want to do online stuff. Okay, instructor, Sang-nam, Director, Computer Game Design Program. My email, snam5@gmu.edu. And my office, Art and Design Building, this building, 2025. Office phone number. And my Twitter account, I don't tweet that much, but I tweet about school event. So if you're interested, you can follow, but I don't do much stuff. Okay, and office hour, Monday and Wednesday, 10 to 1. Okay? Because I'm the director of the program, I come to school every day. Okay? And if you cannot find me, you can always talk to Mary Bean, who's the department program assistant, or Jeremy Tuhi. Okay? You can get me through them as well. But I'm on campus every day, so if you cannot come to during my office hour, or sometimes I have meetings during this time, so email me and we can set up an appointment time and we can meet. So other times by appointment, the best way to reach me is via email. And when you email me, think about email etiquette. Don't email me and then when you email me, let me know who you are. And please don't call me hey. Okay, I'm not your friend yet. If you graduate, we can be friends on Facebook. But until then, or until I get to know you, try to have little etiquette. I'm not going to email you and say, hey, trust me. I'll try to keep my email etiquette. So when you email me, Professor Nam, this is this is someone from GAME232. This is why I am emailing you. Okay? And then sometimes, even when you are in high school, you are kind of good with referring somebody, especially a teacher, pretty good. But now somehow, if you come to college and hey, or don't even just say anything at the beginning, and then just write whatever you want to write. Usually, that doesn't give me or any faculty members good impression. So this is a little tip. Okay, this little thing probably wouldn't give you that much advance, but if you kind of mess up with that, people or your faculty or teacher, professor will kind of think of you as, oh, this guy, probably I'm not going to introduce this guy to other opportunities because this person doesn't even know how to email properly. Anyways, email is good, but don't call me hey, then you're okay. Okay, Mason mission statement and game design mission statement. Sometimes it's good to kind of read. Okay, they're good stuff. And all these things you can read at your leisure. Required textbook. We do not have required textbook. Okay? But one thing I realized, actually I'm in a process of creating a textbook for this class. But if you look at this unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this can be your reference and your textbook. So basically these are things I developed for online version of this class. Okay? So for instance, if you go to unit 3, basic game design, I do have all this video tutorials and what we talk about in class. Okay? So unit 4, probably easier to follow. So we're going to learn about many simple casual games. One of them is breakout game. So if you go to this lesson, there's tons of video tutorials, step-by-step tutorials, and then at the end you will create something something like this. This is one simple game we're going to do, breakout. Okay? And you might think, oh, there are tons of stuff, too many videos. But if you look at it, there are only this is 19 seconds, 16 seconds, 37 seconds. So not that much. But I try to create this video tutorial along with some explanation and sometimes some extra reference stuff. So that's why it has really long list, but they're not that much. But anyways, so these are kind of our textbook and reference. So you can always, if you got nothing to do, you can go there and see what we are going to talk about in this class. Again, I can tell you later, but if you go to these units, you will see okay, we are going to talk about 2D space shooter game. And you will see what types of game you will develop by looking at the end of this video tutorial. So you'll get information ahead. Okay? What we are going to create in this class. And again, we're going to probably create 8 to 9 small games, meaning sometimes you have to create a game a week. Okay? Sometimes you have 2 weeks. Okay? So that's why I really care about class attendance, because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Okay? And then I don't want you to fall behind. This is one Flappy Bird stuff. And you will create something probably something like this, simple Flappy Bird using Unity. Okay. Something like this. All right, going back to syllabus. So again, no textbook, but time to time, I'm going to say, oh, we're going to do this next week. So if you have time, try to look at this video before you come in. Then you can actually look at this part. Require software, Unity game engine, okay? And other things. We talk about Audacity and Photoshop a little bit, and I also go over some other small software or online tools, but these are all free, and you don't have to purchase anything. But expect you need Unity, okay, for your assignment, and other software such as Photoshop, Illustrator, and Audacity. And grading and assessment overview. Okay, these are some things we're going to do. Okay, spinning object, tennis for two, 2D Pong, 2D breakout, catch game, magic 8-ball, and midterm group project, Flappy Bird, 2D shooter game, and final 2D scrolling game or platformer as final. So as total, you are going to create 10 games. Again, we meet for 16 weeks. So sometimes you are expected to create 1 simple game a week. And again, you might think it's a lot of commitment, but how I see it is this is a 3 credit hours course. Okay? And full-time students now is 12 credit hours, meaning this one could be 25% compared to full-time job, right? If you have a full-time job, your commitment should be 40 hours a week. So 1/4 of 40 hours, that's 10 hours commitment. So you are taking this course, okay, with, I expect you to make that 10 hours commitment. Okay? We meet twice a week. For each class meeting takes about 1 hour 15 minutes. So we meet for 2 hours 30 minutes. So my expectation for you is I want you to spend 7 hours 30 minutes outside of classroom, okay, for this class. So that's why with that 7 hours 30 minutes, you can actually create simple game like a 2D Pong or breakout. You can totally do that. So you might think, oh, there's going to be tons of work required for this class. Yes and no, because again, if you spend that 7 hours 30 minutes outside the classroom, you'll be fine. Okay? And other things, all these things you can take a look at and read and get this information. Okay? And sometimes, somehow, if you have something to share with me, not publicly, you can always email me, or you can come to my office, or you can meet either before or after the class. Okay, schedule. Disclaimer, this is a tentative schedule. It will be updated, modified weekly basis, depending on the progress we make in this course. So check this schedule often. Okay? So week number 1, like a little orientation, basic soft skills, and then, so here, I try to put things we do in weekly schedule. Yeah? And then if you click here, you can actually go to that part where you can get that course materials. Okay? So again, this course is available online as well. So you can actually do everything without coming into class. I mean, that's theoretically that's possible. But in class, I mean, you will have more interaction. And then another thing, like on campus, in-person class will offer you more interaction and engagement with your peers. So sometimes I joke, like maybe you can find really good future co-founder of your studio in this class. It's very possible. So try to get to know people around you. And again, like this class should be preparation for you to make advance in this major, meaning in 300 level, 400 level, you will do more group work and group assignment and or group project. So it's kind of good opportunity for you to get to know your classmates or other people in this major. Okay. So that's schedule. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. Then week number 1. Orientation, I kind of did it. Okay, Unit 1, basic soft skill, lesson 1-1, basic soft skills, lesson 1-2, tell me who you are. So let's go to Unit 1. Okay, okay, this is what you will have. Okay, warm-up exercise. This one, I want you to do it like by tonight. By the way, whenever I make announcement on Blackboard, you will get an email. Okay, so that's what I try to do. I try to remind you about some assignment or a deadline. So if you didn't get an email from me today, by now, please see me after the class. That means something's wrong in your email setting. You must you must have gotten email from me by now. Okay? And one more exercise, student survey and goal statement. Okay, so if you go here, if you're not familiar with Blackboard, yeah, this is a kind of good opportunity for you to review or get to know. Go here and download this file, and later on you can like submit it. Okay, so another place you can go is like assignment here, and you can find this later on. If you do student view, you will see something like this. Okay, assignment. This is first one. Go here, download it, and later you can basically submit this assignment by attaching your assignment here and submit. Okay. And most of my assignments has allowed you to have unlimited submission. So if you somehow make mistake, you can just resubmit. Okay? And then what I usually do, I only grade the latest submission. Okay? And if you have any issue with submission, you can always contact me. Okay? All right, lesson 1-1. Okay. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about like why soft skills are important in our field. Okay, so here, soft skill. If you go to Google Dictionary, it says soft skills are personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively and harmoniously with other people. Okay. So now we talk about this a lot, especially later on in this major. You will take GAME232, which is a pre-internship. And that course, we actually talk about soft skills, because pre-internship is a course that will prepare you to get an internship opportunity. And to do that, again, my email etiquette is important, because You don't want to just email owner of some company, hey, I need internship. Can you hire me as an intern? Yeah, but they're not going to reply. So it's important like how to get to know how to ask question or how to do things to interact with people better. Okay? And what are soft skills? Okay? These are some readings you can do. You don't have to read it right now. But you can kind of read this to understand what soft skills are. Okay? And you have to understand, sometimes in our field, people often say, oh, I am really good game programmer. Like, I'll be awesome, hire me. Okay? But in reality, unless you want to be a self-publisher of your game or one-man band, you will work as group in our industry. Okay? So in group work, these soft skills are really, really important. Okay? So sometimes, again, a lot of times our game major focus on polishing their skill set in terms of game development, but sometimes they forget the importance of soft skills. Guess what? Like for instance, let's say you are really, really good graphic artist as an individual. You're awesome. But somehow your work style or lifestyle is really different from others. Meaning, let's say, oh, I work really well during the night from midnight to 3 a.m. And I usually sleep until like 1 p.m. Okay? If you are evaluated as individual, I mean, it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as you deliver like good work. But let's say you have to work with other people for your senior capstone class. Okay? Sometimes they might say, this person is really good, but then again, he never answers email. Or I have to talk about one thing with this person, my graphic artist. It seems like he create great work, but I really cannot find him or her to talk about something. Okay? Then obviously, even though you're super good, people would not want to work with you. That's a big problem. And same thing, in a small studio, communication is a key, and then soft skills are really important. If you just say, oh, you tell me this thing to do this thing, so I did it. But then again, in the process, there's going to be many interactions with your team that will actually make your game better. So that's why we have to focus on soft skills, because again, it's inevitable for you to work in this group or team environment. Okay? You really cannot produce a good game by yourself anymore. Okay? I mean, maybe you can do that, but think about you're competing with other people who create good game together. Then usually, if they put more people in a team, they get better game. Okay? So believe me, you cannot, you cannot be yourself to create a great game. So try to get to know good soft skills, try to get to know how to work with other people, and try to create better game. Okay? So these are kind of your assignment or little thing you can do later today. Okay? And soft skills examples, a list of soft skills. So here, communication, listening, negotiation, nonverbal communication, persuasion, presentation, all these things are important. Okay? So again, you have to prioritize developing your game development skill set. Okay? So I'm not saying you have to like solely focus on soft skills, but these are important skill sets utilized in our industry. So try to kind of think about this, okay? And then we will actually practice some of them like later on. Okay? And there's leadership skill and positive attitude, teamwork and work ethic, and all these things. Okay? And suggestion on how to practice soft skills. Okay? Practice makes perfect. Okay? And here are things. Okay? How to email your professor professionally. Okay? Another thing is, as a faculty member and researcher in this field, I get many external clients. Like for instance, next week I'm going to have a meeting with I Know About Cancer Center. Like they want to create the surgery simulation using virtual reality and augmented reality. Okay? So then obviously I need to hire people, okay? Because I cannot do everything by myself. So when I'm going to hire, usually I hire a student developer, usually junior or senior level. But obviously, I try to hire people who has strong skill sets plus good soft skills. Because, yeah, even though you're super good, if I tell you to do something, I want to hire somebody who can deliver and meet the deadline, and then like while communicating with me as a producer. Okay? So soft skills are really important. And then all these little things, all these things really count. So even now, when I kind of look around, I cannot check everyone, but I can be suspicious. Oh, this person actually doing something else. Okay? And then guess what? Okay? Usually that wouldn't give you, if I have to kind of pick or hire my team, yeah, obviously I'm not going to pick that person because I probably think, oh, I'm going to pay that person like hourly basis, and then that person might just like doing something else using that time during that time. That would be not smart decision for me to hire that person. Okay, I don't want to waste my money. So all these little things really important. So try to think about that. I just said it because I actually found a few people probably doing something else. Okay, so try to be professional, I would say. Okay? And you don't have to do this now. There's a little activity. Okay, why soft skills are important. Okay. So I want you to kind of read this, okay, and then try to pick what are the most important soft skills. Okay? And then if you go to this link, this is a link to discussion board. Okay? And then you can create thread and then post your response. Okay? So this is something like I do time to time, okay? Because I'm going to focus on like a game development and design. So sometimes I want you to kind of take self-initiative to study certain things. So I want you to go through this. You don't have to do it now. Okay? Just read this and then go to activity and then read this, post your response on discussion board. Okay? And lesson 1-2. This is related to your assignment, okay? Like this week's assignment. Okay. In this lesson, you will reflect who you are as a game designer, learn various ways to introduce yourself to others, learn how to use Kaltura screen capture software to capture your online presentation, get to know your instructor and classmates. Okay. Tell me who you are. Okay. So I sometimes like play this. Well, actually, okay, let me. Well, okay. So we can watch this later, but I'm going to just explain like what we are going to do. Okay. Oh, I cut out the song. Okay. Oh, that's so basically I want you to create 2-minute self introduction video. Okay. And then there are many different ways to do this. Okay. One way to do is pechakucha. Anyone know what pechakucha is? Yes? Yes. Yeah. So good. Pechakucha is chit chat in Japanese. So basically, you use numbers of slides, and each slide you try to explain that in 40 seconds. Okay? So usually 40 seconds, 20 slides. The presentation should be concluded in about 6 minutes, between 6 and 7 minutes. This is a thing that sometimes when we try to present something, a lot of presenters are sidetracked. So they have this rule. They need to just spend 40 seconds and next slide, and next slide, so that they can just stay focused on that topic without being sidetracked. And this is a kind of popular presentation method in startup company. Okay? Many startup companies use pechakucha so that they will always try to be on topic. Okay? So you can possibly do maybe, because I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Okay? I want you to use 2 minutes. So you can use 4 slides. Maybe you can spend 30 seconds for each slide. Okay? And then you can have pretty decent introduction of yourself. Okay? And pechakucha example, you can actually see this. I have a little more stuff, but oops. So I'm not going to do everything, but you can actually see a few things. These are sometimes what I use. Okay, so this is example of pechakucha. I'm going to come back to this and why I'm using this kind of things, or if I can do it now. Okay, this is what I do. I see myself as a traveling teacher. So I go to many conferences and many different venues to talk about technology and leadership, and sometimes diversity. And I used to drive not this car, but the 1993 Honda Civic. Okay? So really old car, and eventually my dad actually got in a car accident with that car, so I don't drive that one anymore. But 1993 Honda Civic, so probably 7 or 8 years older than you, maybe. Okay. And one of my students actually made this. Okay. They looked at me as kind of mean cat. I'm not sure why. And same thing, one of my students made this too. And I used to say, work hard, no rest. Okay? That's actually one of my motto. It's this is a time when I taught in graduate school. So I taught in graduate school, and I said, okay, during this graduate school time, okay, if you just work hard, no rest, it's really kind of short time, then you'll get the job first when you graduate. So sometimes I say you can push yourself, and because if you want to go ahead of other people, work hard and no rest. Okay. And then this is one of my work, digital print, entitled Life. I do have kind of pessimistic point of view. Yeah, sometimes I try to be funny and silly, but I do have pessimistic point of view. And then this one is basically everyone's equal. We are born equally, and then we die equally. So like that's one of my actually popular digital print. I used to sell this work, and it was selling pretty well. So anyways, this is something I can do. Like I use it few images and then explain who I am. And one thing I want to actually talk about is power of association. In that presentation, I try to actually make that power of association. Okay. Again, for instance, I can go back to here. Okay. So what I can do is, if you look at like this car, okay, power of association is basically you can create association with normal or meaningless object to you or something meaningful so that people can remember you or remember something when they look at or when they think about that meaningless thing. So for instance, I mentioned that, okay, I drive 1993 Honda Civic. Okay? So before I say that, Honda Civic probably doesn't mean anything to you. Okay? But now I said it, okay, I used to drive 1993 Honda Civic with some like a little story. Okay? Probably is older than most of you guys, right? And then now, if you go outside to the parking lot, if you see kind of old Honda Civic, or any Honda Civic, you might remember, oh, okay, before Professor Nam said that's just like a Honda Civic, but now Honda Civic is associated with this kind of trying to be funny professor in my class. So people will remember you using that thing. Okay? So that's power of association. So if you look at the good presentation, it works pretty well with your game presentation. When you do the when you present yourself or game, we want to do kind of something similar because you want to be remembered. Okay? Then one of the easiest thing you can do is try to bring some object, like daily object, and then make association with that using your own stuff. So that's power of association. So try to think about when you pick what to present. Try to think about, oh, maybe if I say something about this, then people might remember me when they look at this. Okay? And this, yeah, I have some better explanation here too, but okay. Anyone know the Little Prince? Yes. So if you look at that, if you read that book, there's this page about fox. The fox says, okay, to you, okay, I am nothing more than a fox like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, then we shall need each other. To me, you will be unique in all the world. To you, I shall be unique in all the world. Okay, so basically, this is an example of power of association. Okay, we try to again like use some meaningless daily object, try to bring it and make the association with something important so that people can be reminded whenever they look at that thing. Okay. Same thing like I can say it like this is pen, right? At the beginning of each class, I can say, oh, this is pen. Or stupid thing, but again, like sometimes we say like a stupid song or stupid thing kind of stuck in your head. Something like, what is it? I have a pineapple, I have a pen. Pineapple pen, right? Is it apple pen or pineapple pen? Yeah, so that kind of thing, like that's really stupid and probably not a good example. But sometimes you say, I mean, you will always say, oh, that's stuck in my head. right? Maybe, yeah, this one. Why this song is so again, right? Oh, Apple Pen. So now, like hopefully you will forget about this soon, but for a while, whenever you see pen or apple or pineapple, you'll remember that. Okay, so that's like power of association. Okay? So again, the first assignment is a 2-minute self-intro video. Okay? I want you to make 2-minute self-intro video. The reason why we are doing this as a like online presentation, so I want you to submit MP4 file or something, some digital format. The reason why is I'm going to collect them and then post them on our course Blackboard. And later on, we will have a group project, and hopefully you will watch other people's introduction and then get to know them. So whenever we form a group, you can actually, oh, I remember I watched his or her video, and that person liked this game. Maybe we could work together pretty well. So that's the reason why we're doing this. So try to think about, you want to introduce yourself to other people in this course, okay? And then try to think about what types of like personality you have, or what types of skill set you have, okay? So try to think about like what you really need to talk about, okay? I mean, we want to see some interesting aspects in your introduction, not completely random thing. Okay? So like try to think about, yes, I'm a game designer major. Like my skill set, or I'm good at programming, or I want to be a 3D modeler, and I want to be a graphic artist, that kind of thing. And then there could be a whole another thing I usually teach in portfolio preparation and pre-internship. And you have to think about the identity, your identity as game developer and designer. So sometimes like, yeah, I'm a game designer, and I mean, what does that mean, right? Like, so your main focus is design, if that's only you do, or you can be like, yeah, I'm game developer, and focusing on programming, or I'm a game designer that I want to specialize like graphics arts, and who's interested in like board games or Pokemon Go or something like that. And if you're not familiar with how to, oh, okay, my bad. So I want you to use software called Kaltura. Kaltura is screen capture software, like free for Mason students. Okay? And I'm going to fix this and then post it again. Okay? So basically, there's a Kaltura tutorial page you can use, or other screen capture software. You can use Screencast-O-Matic or Camtasia and all other things. So due deadline for this assignment is midnight Sunday. Okay? So I'm going to fix the link today, and then if needed, I can talk about how to use Kaltura on Thursday. Okay? All right. And for your information, I use a software called Camtasia. So I am actually recording all of my class, like a demonstration or class lecture, and then post it on Blackboard and YouTube later. So if you missed anything, you can always go there and watch like what we did on that day. Okay. And then third thing in Unit 1, there's good communication is a key to success. This one actually we'll talk about later in this course because we're going to talk about a team communication. Okay? So we're going to talk about team communication later before we talk about group project, which is a midterm project. Okay? Now let's go back to schedule. Okay? So we're not going to do like all of this because we now have about 13 more minutes. Okay, so if you go to Unit 2, this is something we'll do a little bit today and Thursday. Okay, and there's some explanation about game engine. What is it, right? And then if you realize there are tons of game engines out there. Okay, so usually we talk about like Unreal and Unity because there are like two dominant game engines, but they actually have many other engines out there, okay? Such as CryEngine or Default and other things. And it's really hard to say which one is the best game engine, but as a program, like computer game design program at George Mason, we ended up picking Unity because Unity now is one of the most dominant game engines out there, with the I think the largest users and communities. So whenever you're stuck, you can actually get more help compared to other things. And then Unreal is pretty good, but then again, like when Unreal 4 came out, I think one mistake they made was they released Unreal 4 without kind of completing their beta test. So because like they were under kind of pressure to compete against Unity. So bottom line was Unreal pretty good, but then again it used to have a lot of bugs, and then it didn't work that well. And now actually it got better. So good thing about Unreal, you don't have to think about all this programming at this point. You can do a lot of like a blueprint and create simple game. And then usually Unreal is better with lighting. So if you want to be like a shader programmer, which is the 3D programming, visual programming in game industry, Unreal actually will give you kind of better shader programming. Thus, it looks better actually. It looks better in most cases for 3D or virtual reality games. But then again, sometimes it's hard to say which one's better. But we ended up choosing Unity. And if you take some classes taught by Professor Boris Willis, he actually teaches Unreal in his game motion capture class, because when he teaches motion capture, okay, he captured the motions with the suit and everything, and it's really simple because you can simply make connections or lines between this blueprint to create something. So Boris Willis teaches Unreal Engine. But in this class, we're going to use Unity. 330, 331, and all other classes, we mainly use Unity. Okay. And then, it's almost time. So Thursday, we are going to look at like Unity, introduction to Unity, and other things. Okay, so reminder. If you go to assignment, okay, this one more exercise, student survey and goal statement, is due tonight. I don't want you to wait. Okay? I don't want you to wait. I want you to do it today. Okay? And then this self-introduction, okay, is due Sunday, September 1st. Okay? So try to kind of plan. If you think about it, It's only 2-minute video. Okay, so probably you come up with four images or 4 slides, and then you kind of practice a couple of times, and then hit the record button and just say it. Yeah? And it wouldn't take that much time. For this, I want you to submit it by midnight Sunday, so that Monday I'm going to collect all of them and then review them and then post it on Blackboard so that you can get to know other people in this class. Any question? Okay. And one more thing I want to say before I let you go. If you check my ratemyprofessor.com profile thing, okay, and I think I'm like really good teacher. But then again, I am notorious for not grading your work. So usually my student evaluation, yeah, this guy, great. Instructor provide feedback in timely manner. No, never. So sometimes, I mean, like I am super busy because I am the director of the program, and I'm also graduate coordinator for our master's program. I am like an online coordinator for our new 100% online degree program. And I'm also managing Mason Korea, like computer game design program at Mason Korea. So, and then like I do a lot of like research project that I'm currently working on. So sometimes I'm just, like teaching is one thing, but grading, another thing is, I guess like in me, I try to be nice. So I try to find like something good about your project. So sometimes it takes time. And imagine that now I have 30 students here. Okay, I have to download your file and then open it and see it and play it. It takes a lot of time. So one thing I'm not really good at is grading. Okay? But this semester, I'll try to change. So I'll try to grade your work on time. So if you don't see your grade, like let's say 2 weeks after you submit your work, remind me or bug me, push me. Then I really try to grade them. Okay. And other than that, I think I pretty much covered everything. And again, we don't have textbook, but I have everything online. Okay. So at your leisure, you can watch them, you can read them, and do all these things. And starting from Thursday, we'll look at the Unity program a little bit. And next week, we will actually create like simple games such as Tennis for Two. So at your leisure, try to watch these video tutorials and read it. If you have any question, you can ask me after the class. And otherwise, I'll see you guys on Thursday.